Halloween is right around the corner, and my little Hey Ghost friend here had a simple question. What are the flavors of the candy that you can collect during the Halloween event? You can also place them on your pirate island, by the way, and I have them scattered about here. Let me know in the comments below if you can find all of them. But in today's video, we're going to go over all of the different ponytown candies and try to guess at or hypothesize at what these different candy flavors would be, what these specific candies might be if they existed in real life. So, my little Hey Ghost friend, let's start our journey with the pink piece of candy. This piece of candy is the original piece of candy. It has been in the game since candy was added. It was the original piece of candy. Now, that being said, I do think that this one is likely just bubblegum or something like that because it's pink and that just screams bubblegum to me. Maybe that's just an American thing. I have no idea. I have no way of knowing. Let me know in the comments below if you agree to that. But if this is bubblegum and this is just literally like a piece of gum in a pink wrapping paper, it's kind of sad because this is the only kind of candy we had for many years, multiple years. So at least now we don't have to deal with only bubblegum, but I do think that that's what this one is. So let's take our attention next to this red piece of candy right here inside this vine. This one is actually interesting because it could be any number of things. It's just red wrapping, and so it could be strawberry, it could be cherry, it could be any of those things, but I think, at least in the context of Ponytown, I think it could be an apple flavor because it's red, the Ponytown logo is an apple, a red apple in particular, and it just feels like it would actually make sense if this was an apple-flavored piece of candy. Am I crazy for thinking that? I don't really like apples, of course, but I really do feel like this piece of candy would be an apple flavor of something. I imagine it would be like a hard candy or something like that, maybe even like a fruit chew or something like that. That's an apple flavor. I have no idea. It gives apple to me, and I think it's because the logo is an apple and all that other stuff. It just feels like it makes sense. However, I would much more lean towards it being a strawberry flavor or even a cherry flavor, since those are also red fruits that we have in the game. So take it that way you will, and let's move on to the next one, because next up we have this little green one right here. Oh, there's a bat in my face. Next up is this green one right here. Now, my immediate thought was green apple, and that makes a lot of sense because green apple is a popular green flavor, but this could also be lime or anything to that extent. However, when I did sit down to do this, I did look at each individual piece of candy and looked them up on Google, basically, and was just searching a random candy that had green wrapping paper, or for example orange and green wrapping and pink wrapping and things like that, and almost every image that I found was some kind of green apple flavored candy, whether it be a fruit chew, the Tootsie Roll thing that's green, anything. It's always been a green apple flavor, and so I think, especially if we're gonna give the red one red apple, this one must be a green apple flavor. Now, if this is a fruit chew, then that means the red one previously must be a fruit chew as well. However, if it's hard candy, then that means the red one most likely is also a hard candy. I say that because they're exactly the same, it's just the color that is different, so they must be the same brand, the same style of candy. That being said, let's move on to this one right here. This one was an interesting case because it was kind of hard to find anything that looked like this piece of candy, and when I went to do research for it, I kept thinking in my head, like, I know this is a candy in real life, and maybe it is, and I'm just stupid and I was not able to find it. So please do let me know in the comments below if you can find a piece of candy that has wrapping that's exactly like this. The closest I could find were those weird strawberry wrapping things. It's literally like a red strawberry with like green things on both ends of it. That is the closest thing I could find. However, this is definitely not strawberry, and it's definitely not that specific candy because this is orange, so that doesn't make any sense. Looking on more and more, I kept finding pumpkin themed candies and stuff like that, and ultimately I found something called a Brock's brand Mellow Cream Pumpkin. That's what it was called, Mellow Cream Pumpkins by Brock's. I'll put up an image of it or whatever on screen. So I think that could be what this is. However, that specific candy isn't individually wrapped, and so it doesn't necessarily fit. However, I do think it could be something similar to that flavor, or perhaps just a simple caramel treat. Moving on, we have this purple and reddish one, this purple orangish one here. This one was also very familiar to me, and every single time I looked up things, I couldn't find anything that really looked like it. I did find something that looked kind of similar to it on Google Images, but it was like a 3D render or whatever, so it wasn't even a real candy to begin with, but it just kept scratching on my brain, and ultimately it just kind of reminds me of chocolate. That's what it kept reminding me of. I don't know what it was about it, but I kept thinking, this is a chocolate of some kind. It's a chocolate. It's a chocolate. This has to be chocolate. And eventually I found this chocolate pumpkin from Reese's. They are orange, purple, they have the right colors. They're not necessarily an exact match, but they do resemble each other a little bit. And so I'm just gonna assume that this is some kind of peanut butter chocolate flavored pumpkin or something like that inside this wrapped piece of candy here. So that is what that one is. And let's move on to our second before last one, which is this piece of candy here. Now this one is interesting because I've had people before in a live stream say that this is a ghost, like it's ghost wrapping paper, and I myself have always seen it as a skull, and it could be that I see it as a skull because we have skulls in the game right now, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if you think it's a skull or a ghost. I'm gonna go off the assumption that it is a skeleton, that it's a skull. And taking that into account, I did look up some skull flavored things or skull wrapping paper and things like that. And it did seem like the consensus was that it was white chocolate flavored thing. So it's like white chocolate or perhaps a cookies and cream style piece of candy or something. So honestly, this is probably the best piece of candy so far. Well, I mean, I guess it could be a toss-up between this one and the Reese's one. But either way, I do think that that would probably be some kind of cookies and cream style thing or something to that extent, right? Let me know in the comments below if you agree to that. And let's move on to our last one here, which is the piece of bat, the bat candy. This is honestly kind of the coolest looking one out of all of them. It's the most stylized one, but when I went to do some research on finding bat themed candy and bat wrapping candy and stuff like that, I just really couldn't find anything besides random like hard candy that's in the shape of a bat or chocolate that's in the shape of a bat. I saw a lot of different gummies and licorice and things like that, and so I think ultimately I'm gonna go with this piece of candy here that I found online. It's not individually wrapped, but I'm just gonna say it is this anyway, and it was the Haribo Vampire Juicy Jelly Bat Licorice Candy. I don't think it actually had the word juicy in it, but jelly bat candy. None of the other ones are necessarily a fruit chew or some kind of chewy gummy thing besides literally the bubble gum, and so we have to make sure we have some kind of gummy related candy, and that is going to be the bat. It is the bat. It's going to be like licorice or something. I'm not going to say it's black licorice because people hate black licorice, but maybe it is, or maybe it's some kind of weird chocolate flavored licorice or something like that. Either way, I think that that is most resembles this weird Haribo candy that I found. Those are the different candies, and I can collect all of them now and bring them to my Hey Ghost friend here. Well, there you go, little ghost friend. Here is all of the candy I was able to find in this spooky part of the forest. I hope you enjoy it. You go ahead and go back to the even darker and spookier part of the forest, and I will do my little outro here. So goodbye, little spooky ghost friend, and goodbye to all of you as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below if you agreed to any of these flavor decisions, or if you had your own theories on the different flavors of candy and stuff like that. Throw them in the comments below, and remember, most importantly, to like, subscribe, share, and do all of those wonderful things like that, because when you do wonderful things like that, not only do you get access to wonderful content such as this, but you also get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.